how's it going? I hope you're doing better than me today. Yup, it's one of those days today. Not looking for sympathy, but goddamn it, this was one of the toughest days in a while, and it has nothing to do with the weight. Form was good. I was putting in my best effort, but just did not have the dogs within me today. Basically, just I getting on the. Oh yeah, I gotta kind of mention I decided to change it up a little bit. I wanted to see how it would work right now because I've been feeling pretty shitty when it comes to my shoulders and elbows recently. So I decided to start with power snatch today. And I think that from now on I'm going to have power snatch or power clean and jerk on my bench days. Just because, if you see my schedule, every fourth day I rest. So out of the 3 days that I do, the first 3 days of a week, I'll snatch twice and clean and jerk once. And then on the latter half, I'll do 2 clean and jerks and 1 snatch day. And it's just getting to the point where it gets so heavy in these later parts of the program that I can barely keep it up anymore. Not in a weird way. But it's humbling, and this is what the program's meant for. It shows me what I need to work on. This is literally my first time doing this kind of training ever, so I got to kind of remind myself of that. It's been overall, it's been a really good 6 weeks, just about, more like 5.5. But I gotta make sure I keep my physical health the priority, and when I got to, I want to say when I got to 185, my left wrist started having that feeling that I say all the time. You got to know what the difference between some pulling or some soreness, that's fine. But when you know what actual pain, that stinging feeling, that potentially tearing feeling, it's fucking terrifying. I have had the most issues when it comes to my left wrist. Because I've mentioned it before, I had an abnormal bone growth on it, and it took a while to rehabilitate, but I got through it, got the mobility up. I've been working on it ever since, but again, with how heavy it's gotten recently, it's a little bit much, especially on the clean and jerks, because it's so much more volume since clean and jerking is 2 lifts in 1. And now today, I for the first time in I think 10 months, I got a slight that deja vu fucking pain. I don't want to say it's exactly where it was last time, but I can. It's right. It's where your hand connects to your wrist, right below that is where I'm feeling it on the top part of my. If you, sorry, I'm fucking all over the place. If your palm is face down on top of your wrist, that's what I'm talking about. Anyway, that I felt that that tweak, and I was like, oh, that little sting is not what I'm supposed to be feeling. I could feel that was coming from my joint or some sort of tendon, not the good stuff, not any sort of muscle, just being a little bit sore. So as I always say, I worked with what I felt was comfortable, and I got up to 2 plates, which, I'm pretty happy with. I definitely have more in me, but I put on 235, and it just was, I just didn't see it worth it as committing as hard as I could to do a weight that could potentially injure me. I'm sure when you see it, I get it pretty fucking high, and if I really committed to it, I could probably dive underneath it. But the moment I would get, it's something where when you feel that kind of pain, that's that gives you that deja vu of a past injury, man, it is near impossible to put in any actual good energy in a lift. You cannot fully commit when you're feeling actual pain. It's very, very difficult if you do that. Like, I feel like the only people who really can are the ones who are doing it on stage, and they feel like they have to no matter what, but for a normal programmed cycle, I'm not trying to risk my hand, especially since I've already injured it once in the past. This is something I really don't want to go back and have to rehabilitate twice over. So I dropped it there, got to the bench, and because I felt it on the power snatch, it inevitably felt a little icky on the bench. Not nearly as bad, but when you feel it, even if it doesn't really fuck with you, it can still make that next lift really hard to mentally commit to. So regardless, I'm still impressed with the weight I put up. I got to 335 today for a double. That's really good. But it's so infuriating because I know I have more in me, and it's just one of the things that I gotta kind of take a step back and look at it and just be like, gotta stay humble, like the program's been doing really well, and I gotta make sure that I don't need to change the whole fucking program. And I gotta remind myself, even though I feel shitty today with this, like, it just, when that kind of pain comes out of nowhere, it's typically something that's been building up over time. So it's not because I started doing power snatches today. It was just a coincidence. So I got to look at it on a brighter side and be like, well, because I did the power snatches today instead of full snatches probably would have just sent my wrist to the fucking ER. I probably would have actually hurt something. So I'm very grateful I didn't have to experience that. And I got the chance to put in some effort on bench as well. But anyway, I need to stop fucking rambling because I haven't even told you how I'm doing. Even though you could probably already guess. Physically, all things considered, I think I have to give it a 7 at least. My brain wants to say lower, but I put up 2 plates over my head. It's pretty impressive no matter how you look at it on a power snatch, and I didn't even put in full effort. So I'll take what I can get there. And likewise, the bench actually went pretty fucking well by the end of it. As you'll see, I had to really humble up. I know I said I was trying to kind of swear off all equipment like knee sleeves or wrist wraps, so I don't like using them if I don't need them. But I've always said, if you are at risk for an injury, then that's completely different. If you got a spinal issue, a joint issue, like whatever, knee issue, you gotta make sure you give it that protection it needs while it's feeling like shit. So that you can build it back up another day and give your body that chance to put in that maximum effort, because today is not the last day that you're going to lift. At least I hope not. And that little bit of ego over prioritizing your body's physical health is what will end this kind of career for someone. It's very disheartening in the moment. So I got to remind myself of how well I've done and how much progress I've seriously put in. Like, literally yesterday, I managed to hit 3 plates on clean and jerk, and it felt like I didn't even have to really go extremely hard, which is awesome. And, I'm not making excuses. I'm just stating how it is. It is all my fault, but I have been traveling for 12 hours today. I had to make a run to a different city for a bunch of different appointments, and it took a total of 12 hours to get back home. It is super unfortunate. Woke up at 5:30 a.m., which is 4:30 a.m. because daylight savings just happened, and I am not accustomed yet. And I haven't eaten since 1 p.m., and it is 10:30. So it's my fault. Don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of factors that could go into this type of thing. So I can't get fully disheartened and think that my program's failing or that I'm failing in certain form or whatever, or if I'm just not cut out for this. It's just a shitty day. I say it all the time, but you have to get through these dog shit days with whatever your body's able to give you, even if it's not that much intensity, and you just got to roll with it. You got to give it the chance to come back and actually show what you can do. So, rather than taking this as a negative and being all sad and blah, 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 trying to think way too hard about all the shit that I probably don't have to think too hard about, it's probably not that big a deal. Obviously, if this persists, that's different. But ironically, now that I have stopped lifting, literally even towards my top sits on my bench, when my wrist started to calm down, because it was just like that little overextension on the snatch that was making it feel a little weird. My wrist doesn't even hurt anymore, like at all. It completely went away. So I for now, it's just a matter of circumstance. If it persists, that's obviously different. I gotta actually take some time to look into it and see what I need to do. But if something shitty happens to you in the moment and you get all freaked out by it, if it's just a one-time thing, try to run with it. Don't force yourself to quit on so many things that you've been trying so hard at just because of one little stoppage that might not be anything. Don't overdo it. Obviously, I'm not going to come in the next day when I got to lift and put in 130% if it means putting my wrist at risk. It's just going to be a matter of I'm going to try to finish this program out, this cycle, because I literally have 3 more sessions left. I am literally at the finish line. And afterwards, we can look into see what might need some rearranging, because, I don't know exactly what will help to the fullest extent. But I think adding power snatches and power clean and jerks is a step in the right direction, because I think I would have actually been a world of hurt today if I had tried to go as hard as my brain was wanting to. And I just got to, again, I say it all the time, I got to take it with a grain of salt. It's one day, it's one session. I'm still healthy. I didn't get injured because I minimized the risk as much as possible and didn't add weight when I felt like I was going to break. And that's just it. It's really just as simple as that. And hopefully next time I come in, I can put in that maximum effort. Even better, tomorrow's a rest day, so I'm gonna fully rest it. I'm gonna do some mobility drills with it, give it the ice pack and then the heat pack, feel it out, see if it really is a little fucked up. But it honestly feels like it's something on my forearm, so on the top part of my forearm. So who knows? It might be a muscle that's just directly connected to the bones and joints at my wrist. So it might just be a little strain, because it didn't feel like how my bone felt when I had the abnormal growth 10 months ago. It was a different kind of feeling, but because it was in the same spot, it freaked me out a little bit. So put on the wrist wraps just to make sure I was safe, because I will not put myself at risk just to put up a heavier lift on one specific day when I have so much time to improve. And so I feel like this is going a bit in circles, so I'm going to wrap it up. I kind of just jumped into it without a plan, so sorry if it seems a bit ranty, but this is what we're here for. I got to throw it out there and accept the reality of my situation and make sure that everything I'm doing is healthy and okay for my body, and just take it one step at a time. That's all it is. So give your body the chance it needs to heal. As I'm always saying, I got to make sure I listen to my own advice sometimes. And the progress will still come, even if it's a little bit slower. And again, I might change a little things around next cycle. I think I wanted to start the powers now because I was already feeling these sort of tweaks in my wrist and elbows, and my shoulders. And it just means that I'm over exceeding what should be done. I always want to push my limits, but there's pushing your limits to the strength of your muscles and your form, and there's pushing the limits of your physical body, and I don't like making risks that could potentially kick me out of the gym for 6 months. I've been there, done that, and I am humble enough to let that shit go. So do what you will with that information. This is just me spouting about my experience. I'm sorry for 2 kind of morbid videos back to back, but these step backs, I choose to believe, are going to be what leads me to an even greater leap forward next time. So I'm extremely excited to get on some clean and jerks day after tomorrow, and I want to really see where that weight's at, because that's the one that I've kind of been anticipating the most, because I haven't gotten to really push myself on clean and jerk in a long time, and I feel like it's all kind of coming together. So you'll see it. I'll be here, so stick around if you feel like it. And, let me know how your lifts and lives have been going. I love hearing about it, and I appreciate the support. So I will be back. See you.